Hi guys, I didn't expect to make this video so soon, but looking back at my upload history with Stellaris, I felt that I needed to put this video out. With just how many people watch this channel for Stellaris content, and quite a few of you do, I at least owe everyone an explanation as to why my coverage has been very inconsistent. To be truthful, I haven't even played Overlord, the latest expansion. I mean, I have had something like 10 or so hours on my brother's copy, but I haven't even bothered to buy the DLC for my Steam account in the first place. I think there are a lot of reasons for this, but mainly, Stellaris just isn't winning me over anymore. This sounds like a pretty radical statement coming from someone who got into Paradox and 4X games just through playing Stellaris, but I am being completely honest here. Hell, I didn't even start playing Civ 6 until after I had at least several hundred hours into Stellaris. So let's cut to the chase. If you have watched some of my previous videos in the past, you may already know that I am not the biggest fan of Overlord. Truth be told, I haven't been a fan of most of the DLC that has been pushed out from Paradox for the last couple of years or so. I did enjoy Aquatics, and I thought it added some refreshing content, but ever since Le Guin, I have found myself, and others to an extent, having way more issues with Stellaris launches, with everything ranging from bugs, game-breaking glitches, and poor gameplay balance. That isn't to say every major release has been bad. I quite enjoyed Federations, but I have noticed things starting to become much more chaotic around major patches. I don't think the developers are entirely at fault here, and I know most of them are just trying to meet deadlines and they face a lot of pressure. This is a discussion for another day, but I have also heard complaints about how Paradox has managed its other titles like EU4. I just hope that there is enough time in the future to avoid things like crunch time, because it drastically impacts the quality of the game and the overall mental health of many of the developers for these games. The biggest blow, however, to my perception of Stellaris was with the Nemesis release. Ironically, bugs were not the problem, but this was the first time that I have ever been underwhelmed by a Stellaris expansion. In the past, people like Wiz were known for going absolutely crazy and reworking entire systems in order to enhance gameplay. In fact, many people joked around that after a new Stellaris patch had dropped, you were playing an entirely different game. Now, I understand melting down and reworking mechanics can be an exhausting process, and I know this could go on forever in terms of what the developers could do. But my issue therein is that the newer releases feel less inspired. For example, the supposed espionage rework felt so weak and time-consuming that many players just dropped playing with the mechanic altogether, despite the fact that it was brand new. It took ages to get involved with intrigue, and the payoff was even more of a massive waste of time. The other big issue that I have come across time and time again, and this is an issue that has plagued most of the 4X games I have played, is downtime. At a certain point in most strategy games, players have nothing to do when waiting between events or decisions. Typically, this happens more and more often the later into the game you go, but ironically, with Stellaris, I find myself having a ton of downtime at the start, and then it tapers off once I have met other empires and the galactic community is founded. If there were more interesting choices, specifically more fleshed out mechanics around empire building and internal politics, I think it would go a long way into adding to replayability. Ultimately, adding more variation and increasing replayability is the ultimate goal of these games. Companies want you to invest more time into their products and materials. Federations went a long way into revamping international diplomacy, so I presume that next would be something along the lines of a rework to internal factions. There are still plenty of ways the developers could add new mechanics to the game in refreshing ways, but revamping some of the most underutilized and forgotten areas of the game seemed like a logical next step to me. My grievances aside, I don't think Stellaris is a bad game. It is one of the most played games in my Steam library, but I think that, just like the devs, I will be taking a brief hiatus this summer in anticipation of more content coming to Stellaris. If you are interested in watching my other Stellaris content, check out my playlist section. Also, let me know what you thought of the video in the comment section below, because I am always trying out new things and seeing what viewers like, so every bit counts. Thanks for watching, love you guys, and peace.